Hey there, West Michigan. Thanks for watching 13 Weather Plus. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens. It was a beautiful Saturday all across West Michigan. Some great weather in place out there, but as we head toward tomorrow, that's going to change. Not so much in the way of the sunshine, but more heat and much more humidity will make tomorrow a toasty and sticky end to our weekend. Of course, it will look pretty tomorrow, much like what we had out there today. In fact, beautiful photos from you guys. Laura took this picture of some white clouds from White Cloud. Love the blue skies there behind the sunshine and the clouds this afternoon. Beautiful view. And speaking of great views, Kathy got this one at Pier Marquette Beach. Those awesome clouds there and the oranges of the sunset here this evening. Beautiful picture out there over the water, and a similar view from Sharon in Hoffmaster State Park, where again, just a gorgeous sunset. Great weather all across West Michigan this afternoon. Of course, if you take any weather photos, we love to see them here at 13 on your side. You can send them to me on social media. Meteorologist Michael Behrens on Facebook, and at Mike Behrens WX on the X Twitter and on Instagram, as well as Threads. When it came to the temperatures out there today, hit 77 Grand Rapids, 81 Muskegon, and 79 in Holland. Temperatures a little below average for this time of the year, and just a little bit below the forecast too. Told you 82, hit 77, not inside 3 degrees for today. Tomorrow, temperatures expected to continue upward. That's why 13 Weather Ball is lit up in red as warmer temperatures are ahead.
The 13 Weather Ball is sponsored by LaFontaine Lincoln Grand Rapids.
Those temperatures tonight already going to be milder than what we had last night. Things got a little chilly out there as we fell into the 50s last night. Temperatures tonight only going to drop down into the mid 60s. In fact, dew points have started to come up into the 60s. That'll hold temperatures up. In fact, many places as of about 10:20 still in the 70s across West Michigan. Winds throughout the day have been from the south. They'll continue from the south tonight. That'll keep pushing in warmer and more humid air as we head toward tomorrow. Mostly clear skies overnight with temperatures that drop to the mid 60s. Will rise to the mid and upper 80s for tomorrow with mostly sunny skies and a lot more humidity for the second half of the weekend. Tonight, expect that temperature to fall to 64. Tomorrow, 86 with 83 for Monday. Staying humid through the end of the weekend and into the start of next week, but no rain chances in the forecast until we get to about the midweek of this coming week. What we will see out there is more haze. You can see those hazy skies across the region today. That continues tomorrow, but a little bit less so than today. And in fact, much of the next week will have just a little bit of haze in the skies. That'll continue all the way through about Friday before we can push this haze completely out of the region. Radar out there across Michigan, quiet on Saturday, and across the Great Lakes, quiet too. In fact, all the way back out through the Dakotas, quiet weather is firmly in place. That'll be the pattern as we head through the rest of this weekend with only a few passing clouds coming through tonight and into early Sunday. A few clouds continue as we head through the day Sunday and into Sunday afternoon, becoming a little bit thicker by Monday. We'll turn partly cloudy as we head into the start of the week. We'll turn mostly cloudy by Tuesday, but the rain chances, they're not going to show back up here in West Michigan until we get toward Wednesday. Temperatures out there Sunday expected to be in the 80s with humid conditions along the lake shore. Those temperatures in our northern zones will be in the mid 80s with temperatures that'll get pretty close to 90 on Sunday afternoon, especially by the time you head down toward Kalamazoo. 13 on your side, 10-day outlook. Temperatures stay in the 80s through the start of the week. Showers and storm chances, at least a small one on Wednesday. Temperatures look to get near 90 Thursday with very humid conditions out there. Another round of storms comes through Friday before temperatures drop back down into the 70s by the end of the forecast.
The 13 on your side beach and boating forecast, sponsored by AAC Credit Union.
And now it's time for your beach and boating forecast. The beach hazard statements will expire as we head towards sunrise Sunday with waves that'll be calmer than what we saw out there for your Saturday. Waves of 2 to 3 feet still possible, but certainly much safer conditions and much warmer conditions along the lakeshore. That sadly won't go for water temperatures with the wave activity this week, stirring up a bunch of cooler water with low to mid 60s now becoming the prominent temperature across the lake. If you want 70s, you got to head all the way down toward the southern side of Lake Michigan. And now to Hurricane Hilary. At one point, a dangerous Category 4 storm has weakened to a Category 2 as of Saturday evening as it continues to head towards Southern California. Governor Gavin Newsom has issued a state of emergency for much of the region. Millions across the Southwest now bracing for strong winds, heavy rains, and potentially life-threatening flooding. Here's ABC News' Lionel Moise with the details.
Millions across the Southwest are bracing for Hilary.
We want you to be safe. With potentially dangerous weather conditions on the horizon, including high winds and flooding, power outages.
Video from the International Space Station shows the powerful storm churning in the Pacific. Already impacting parts of Mexico, Hilary now headed towards Southern California, a tropical storm warning in effect for Los Angeles and San Diego.
What we know for certain is that there will be sustained high winds of up to 50 miles per hour, and that there will be enough rain to flood low-lying areas. We continue to ask people to shelter in place during the storm.
In Orange County, crews are busy building massive sand berms to protect beaches. Newport Beach is providing residents with sandbags.
We're just preparing for the Hurricane Hilary that's coming into Southern California.
And in San Clemente, workers are laying down plastic tarps to help guard against mudslides. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office issuing evacuations for several areas, and officials are advising everyone to avoid travel.
If you do not need to be on the roadways, we are asking you to postpone any of your non-essential travel until the peak of the storm passes.
The Southwest could see heavy rainfall through early next week.
A high risk of flash flooding from Palm Springs all the way up to Death Valley, where we could be talking 3 to 6 inches of rain or more.
Parts of California, Nevada, and Arizona possibly getting more than a year's worth of rain in just 48 hours. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
And with this historic storm continuing to track toward California, we now check in with our sister station CBS 8 in San Diego and Jenny Day, who reports on how residents are getting prepared this weekend.
San Diego, more like Miami today, preparing for a rare summer storm, a hurricane off the coast of possible historic proportions.
We're just getting sandbags because last time I didn't have them and I wish I did.
Imperial Beach is prone to flooding. Dottie Kuza owns a little boutique hotel here and has seen it happen.
We have like chairs in the front. We just like fold all those up, tie them down. I'm personally going to stay there in the office to make sure that nothing happens.
The nearby Tijuana River is also a concern. For decades now, it backs up from trash and sewage even after a small amount of rain. That's led to beach closures in IB for more than a year now.
We're expecting anywhere between 1 to 2, let's call it 2 to 3 inches of rain. That means that the river can flow up to 1 billion gallons of water per day, and all of that will be tainted with toxic sewage. So we could see impacts going up the coast all the way up to Point Loma.
Our neighbors across the border are also in Hilary's path. The governor of Baja California warning residents to only leave their homes if necessary.
No salgas de casa si no es necesario.
She added that safety is the most important thing. Hurricane Hilary is currently packing 130-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Should weaken to a tropical storm by the time she gets to us, marking only the second time in San Diego history. I also spoke with an engineering professor at SDSU.
Have plans how you want to evacuate.
He says the rainfall could surpass our yearly historical average in just a few days, and our infrastructure is simply not equipped to handle that.
You might see trees broken, you might see damages to the vehicles, to the buildings, to the infrastructure.
And now to the latest track of Hurricane Hilary. Still a Category 2 storm this evening. You can see it here churning off the west coast of Baja California. The latest with the storm, gusty winds up to 130 miles per hour with sustained winds of 100 miles per hour as it continues to track off toward the north. The tropical storm warnings in effect all the way up toward Los Angeles, down through Baja California with hurricane watches in Baja California. The track of this storm storm expected to weaken as it moves to the north in the coming hours. The forecast by midnight on Saturday into early Sunday is expected to drop it to a Category 1 storm, continuing to weaken as it pushes toward the north, but maintaining hurricane strength as it makes its way toward northern portions of Baja California. By early Sunday, it'll weaken to a tropical storm as it pushes into Southern California, with some of those tropical storm winds that may make it as far north as portions of southern Nevada before it weakens even more, heading on up into the Pacific Northwest. Those counties shaded in green here, you can see from Southern California all the way up into portions of Idaho, Oregon, and southern Washington. Those are flood watches in place. This storm could drop as much as 3 to 6 inches across a broad portion of the region, with some of those higher areas of rainfall making their way upwards of 10 inches. And now here's some fast facts from our Verify team. If this storm hits Southern California as a tropical storm, it'll be the first to do so since 1939. According to the National Weather Service, that storm dropped 5 inches to a foot of rain throughout Southern California. 45 people died and another 48 died at sea. The storm caused $2 million in damage. The only known hurricane to hit California happened in 1858. Now moving back here to the state of Michigan and some news for this weekend. It's your last chance to check out Michigan's off-road vehicle trails for free. Today, Saturday, well, you missed that chance, but tomorrow is the final day that you can ride the trails without an ORV license or a trail permit. All other ORV laws do still apply. You can learn more about this on the state's website, michigan.gov. And finally, check this out. Here's an idea for something to do outside if you don't mind the heat coming up Sunday. A sunflower maze at Deep Roots Produce in Alto. We just had to, of course, put the drone in the air to get an aerial view over this spectacular site. It features 3.5 acres of 15 different varieties of sunflowers. The maze is opened up as of this weekend, and we're told about 5 days from now, early this coming week, will be prime time for those blooms, which could last anywhere from 3 weeks to as long as a month. The farm's owner talked to us about the design for the maze and what they're looking forward to as we head toward the fall.
This is 2023, and the 0 is a flower petal, and then there's also a bunch of flower petals out there in the trail. That's actually what the trails are. They make up the design. And the idea for the 2023 is I think we're going to do the year every year for the sunflowers, because we also do a corn maze. And so when we take our aerial photo, it'll have a year stamp at the bottom of it in the sunflower field.
And you heard him speak of the corn maze. That one will be open up on Labor Day. And now you're up to date with the latest forecast here in West Michigan and some weather news from here and around the country. There's always more to be found online at 13onyourside.com or by downloading our news and weather apps. For now, though, thanks for watching 13 Plus. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens.